Right. Good morning, everyone. I am going to be completely honest, transparent, and all the things with you because I think that one of the things that I know I'm committed to is being authentic. And I know that, or I hope that you have come to rely on that for me. So I probably sound a little teary because I am. For a lot of reasons. The biggest one of which is I just came out of a meditation, and Beth will know more about that because Beth and Lashina, who are here, and Goddess Carla. All right, I see all the goddesses in here that are in here. But I just came out of my meditation for today. We're on a 40-day abundance um, journey together, and it was just really powerful in addition to just life, some other life things that are going on. So I just want to let you know, like, I'm not my full Tasha today. um, and thank you for your grace in advance, and also know that by the time we get to Facebook this afternoon, I will be her. I just need a little extra time this morning as today is going. um, but what I wanted to share with y'all was about, and I titled this The Number One Wealth Secret. And I was going back and forth with my entire family. So my entire family, we got home from dinner last night, and I was like, what should I talk about on Clubhouse tomorrow? And everybody's chiming in and giving me their thoughts. And I was like, if I talk about that, that's going to be, I got to be really prepared to go there. And if I ask my kids, what is like I asked each of my kids, what is the number one thing you would say that you have gotten that you think will contribute the most to your wealth journey from just being my child, like being in this house with me? What is the number one thing that you've gotten? And they each said, and it was amazing, that's another day. That's going to be another day though. So I thought about doing something like that, sharing that with you all. Um, I was surprised. It was a very, happy moment for me as a mom because half the time I don't know what they're thinking. I don't know what they're taking, what they're leaving, what they're picking up. Um, they make fun of me so many times. Like my son will go, "Yes, I know, mom, just manifest it," and roll his eyes. So I'm like, as far as I know, especially him, he's not taking anything of it. Um, but I decided my heart wasn't sitting well with that, and so I thought about it and thought about it. And I'm reading several books this summer, as you know. I literally all at the same time. I probably have 6 books going, right? And so one of the books that I'm reading, um, or I have been reading over the summer, there was something in that book that really struck out to me as keeping it very, very simple when it comes to wealth. And I think that when I think about the people that I serve and even myself, there are days and there are moments and there are periods where I just get so caught up in all the things that need to be done. And I sit back and I wonder, like, is this the thing that's needed for wealth? Is that the thing? Is that the thing? Like, what does it all come down to? Like, the bottom line, if I don't have this, nothing else is going to work, right? And I thought about the analogy of explaining this to you. So we're going to go with, we're just going to play a little bit this morning. And I thought about, and Chantel's on here, so she can probably chime in. But if you think about, you want to bake a cake, right? And so the cake that you have when it's done is wealth. That's the outcome, that's the end game. And I always say, focus on the end. What is the thing you want in the end? What's the outcome that you want? And so if at the end of the day, you having a life of wealth is the completed cake, then I want you to tell me, what would you say is the ingredient? We're just going to have fun. Everybody here knows how to bake a cake, right? You need flour, eggs, sugar, baking soda, baking powder, um, vanilla. It's been a while. You can tell since I've baked cake. But if you have all the ingredients, whatever it is you want to use to make a cake, you have everything. You got your pans, you got everything. What would you say though is if you don't have this one ingredient, you're not putting out a cake. So what would you all say? Tell me in the chat. What would you say it would be that ingredient? So Kiki says gratitude. So Kiki, I want you to go to literal. Be a little bit literal with the cake. Flour, flour, sugar. Nope. Some of you are saying belief. I want you to Kiki says, okay, flour. If I don't have flour. They all have to be there to have a cake. Okay, now I want you to tell me a literal thing, right? Icing. Oh, Ellie is saying everything is needed. Everything is needed. No, but I want you to bring it down to one thing, Elle. Salt, baking soda, okay, baking powder, sugar. Jackie says sugar. Pam says eggs. Beth, the pan. This is fun. You all are creative as heck this morning. I love it. Heat, some type of oil. Okay, Kiki, how many different answers are you going to have? One. And Shanika, you're the next one. You need one. Lisa's laughing. Oh my gosh. Come on, you guys. I see so many of you in the room. I don't bake. That's my kid sister's job. Eggs. Suzanne says eggs. My cakes are all vegan and gluten free. Okay, so well, of your gluten free ingredient, what's the one thing? Butter. Kalandra says butter. All right, you can tell the ones who are bakers in here. I needed this laugh, you all. Thank you so much. What a gift to my spirit this morning. All right, so my answer looks like someone else just typed. Oh, yeah, I was laughing. Okay. Um, so my answer would be if you have the flour, you have the eggs, you have the baking powder, you have the sugar, you have the pan, you have everything, and you put it together, you will not have a cake if you don't have heat. If you don't have heat, you're not going to end up with a cake, right? So for me, I want us to think about what is that, the equivalent of that. And whatever your answer was, and you believe firmly, Tasha, I could have heat, but if I don't have sugar, I'm not going to have a cake. Or if I don't have egg, I'm not going to have a cake, right? So whatever I'm not here to argue what you think it is. I just want you to be clear that you believe there's one ingredient that without that ingredient, you're not going to have a cake, whatever it is for you. And so for me, mine is heat. I can have everything. And it's kind of like with wealth creation. I feel like I can do everything. But if I don't have this one thing, then there isn't going to be the outcome I desire, which is wealth, right? And so for me, and my understanding, and this book that I've been reading, and I've been seeing this everywhere, and I'm going to read this quote to you. Only so these two men are speaking, and one's asking, what is what is required to have wealth? And one says, the only thing required is desire. Besides this, nothing else. What are your thoughts? The only thing required is desire. I want to hear your thoughts. So join us on stage, type in the chat. I am gonna share a little bit more to deepen your understanding of that ingredient for wealth creation. And like, okay, so what do I do with it, right? It's kind of like, okay, I have heat, but I'm not gonna get a cake if I turn that heat to 50 degrees, right? So even though you know that heat is the one ingredient, or even if you said eggs, well, if the cake needs 3 eggs and you use one, you're still not gonna have a cake, right? Or so anything that you have decided would be the ingredient. There's a little bit more detail that's needed in the understanding of that. And it's the same thing with wealth. It's not enough to just know you need desire. We have to talk a little bit deeper about it. So I want to jump up on stage. Let me hear your thoughts. What do you think about
Tasha,
that?
will you make me moderator?
Yes, Lisa. Thank you for that. There we go. All right, come on, everyone that's in here. Come up on stage. I want to hear your thoughts. Good morning, Yesenia. I see some lots of old timers, friends for a long time. Good morning, good morning. All right, so yeah, I want you to come on, Kiki and Shanika. You all in the chat. You giving all your comments. Lynn, I see you in here. Goddess Jackie Brooks. Come on, come on, come on. Goddess Pamela. Let me hear what your thoughts are. What do you think about this? Come up on stage.
I
Uh,
think that desire is important, right? Because it begins everything. And this may be cheating just because I know, but the desire has to be a burning desire, right? It cannot just be a desire, and because of that desire you become open and it starts flooding in, right? We have everything that we need, and when that desire comes and we open our eyes, we are able to see opportunity where we didn't see it before. We may even figure out how to ask in a way that we've never asked before. All of the components start coming forth if we are open to receive them. So it's not just the desire, right? It's the burning desire, it's the heat that we need.
I love that, Lisa. That's so powerful. I love that. All right, so who else wants to join us on stage? Come on. You know, this is Clubhouse, it's not Facebook. We have a conversation here. Let's go. Come up on stage. I want to hear your thoughts. Hey, Rhonda, good morning. Jackie, good morning. All right, so who wants to go first? Rhonda, you want to go first? Want to unmute and share your thoughts?
Sure. I am so unmuted. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, family. Gosh, desire. Uh, Growing up for the longest time, I just really thought money was unimportant. I've just always lived with the it'll be there. And somewhere along the line, later in life, it became they should have taught that in school. I missed out on a whole lot of things that should have been in the curriculum. And now that I've come to that place, thank God, of learning and knowing how to manifest it, desire is critical. And not from a painful place, but I kind of work it from a joyful place. I do remember when $20 felt like 20 million,
Hmm.
because when you don't have 20 and you get that 20, it just allows you to do stuff. So desire to me, yes, has definitely transformed my life. I definitely have come to the place of valuing money, my relationship with money, and becoming friends with money, knowing that the things that it can do. Uh, Creating it has been fun in terms of having everything I need. At this place in my life, my focus is more on multiplication, wealth multiplication, in terms of creating that generational legacy. Love that it's there. Love the ability to write the check when a need arises. And knowing that literally just having the desire helps to create and propel that. I remember a friend of mine asked me, "Hey, can I borrow $10,000?" And at that time, I talked to my group and we were like, "No, we're working on these things. So, no, we can't do it." But I loved it when back in March I was asked a similar question and I didn't have to go to the group because my life had transformed, that I just wrote them the check. Because at the time when they asked, I truly desired to help them, but our collective made a different decision. But I see God honored my desire. So, yes, desire is vital. And that's my share.
That's really powerful. I I just want to acknowledge that feeling of, being able to give generously. Um, just the ability, and I just want everybody to just pause for a moment, being able to respond to a financial need of someone else, just that you have the ability to, like, no questions asked, no big deal, not even like concerned about getting it back, just, I have it, here you go, you need it, here. um, just for all for all the reasons that we have the desire for wealth, like, let's just tap into that, because one of the things that I know is the people that I'm called to serve, the people that are led to me in whatever way, shape, or form, are those people. right? That is a big part of our desire. It's not for greed. It's not so we can hoard. It's not so we could just, fill our egos that we have wealth. Like that's our hearts. That's who we are. And I just want to thank you for that contribution, Rhonda. And I love that you said, I have so much fun creating wealth. I was like, yes, I've, I just turned up my desire, put a little extra heat under. I want to have fun creating wealth. So thank you for that. Goddess Jackie, thank you for joining us on stage today with your fabulous self. Let's hear what you'd have to share.
Good morning. Thank you
Good
so much
morning. You're
for
welcome.
having me on stage. So, when you said desire, it was like, wow. And for me, what that meant for me is I immediately went within and it was like, what does that desire look like for me? And so to truly go within, because that's part of my desire for life is that anything that I do, let it be with integrity of me. Let it be from being true to me. Because I see as a desire of mine is to truly serve from who I am. So when you said desire, it was like, okay, universe within, what does that mean for me? Show me what that looks like for me. And I
Hmm.
surrender to that because that's what brings me the greatest joy is the desire of doing it from who I fully am.
Hmm. Wow. That's really powerful. That is really powerful, Goddess Jackie. Thank you, thank you, thank you for that share. Ah, you know, tapping into the desire of who I truly am. That is a whole other conversation. That is that's a whole I'm like, Tasha, don't go there. That is a whole other conversation that if I even start to delve into that, there's not enough time left to give it justice. But that's really powerful. Thank you for that contribution, Jackie. And I promise everyone else that I would make a note to add it to my list of topics because we do have to have a talk about that. Um, I want to share, thank you for everyone who came on stage. And I just want to share, two of the things that I think we have to do with desire, right? Like, so if desire is the heat, what do we have to, what do we have to be cognizant of when we acknowledge this, or not when we acknowledge, but how we utilize this this one ingredient in wealth creation. And if desire is all you need, then I think number one, what I've realized when I think about it further is I have to acknowledge my desire for wealth. I have to honor it and I have to acknowledge it. And I think when I look at the people that are I'm blessed to have you cross my path, sometimes I see the struggle with the acknowledging of the desire for wealth, right? So it's like if that's the number one ingredient, like without it you have nothing else, and you are battling an internal battle about your desire for wealth, that's like turning the heat to 50 today, then 400 tomorrow, then 25 the next day, or going, I don't want to even think that I want wealth, I'm turning this all the way down to zero, right? And I don't need to tell you, those of you that are bakers, using that analogy, you know that you're not going to have the outcome that you desire, right? So I think, and I'm sharing this with you just for you to consider, where is, like Lisa said, you have to have a burning desire. But I don't even think, and Napoleon Hill talks about that, you have to have a burning desire. But I think that before you even talk about having a burning desire, you have to acknowledge and honor that you have the desire for wealth. You have to say, I know I have this and I'm okay with it. I'm a yes to it. I'm not going to think of it as bad, wrong, evil, anything. I am. I am in complete ownership of my desire for wealth. It is a part of me. I acknowledge it. So I think that's number one. And I think the other part of this desire is it's not enough to just say, okay, I have the desire. Like you have to do something about it, right? It's like I have so much love in my heart for my husband, for my children, right? For all of you that I serve. But you are not going to know about this love that's in me if I don't do something to express it. It has to be expressed in order for it to take tangible, energetic form where you go, you know, Tasha is on E this morning, but it's Thursday at 9. She said she would be here. She's here, right? That is, to me, that is my physical expression of love for you. So when you think about your desire, I don't think it's enough to have a burning desire. You could be filled with the desire for wealth. It could be burning till it burns you up. But until you express it physically, I think that having desire as an ingredient requires doing something about it. I would love to hear your thoughts. As you're typing or jumping on stage, in any way wanting to contribute to that, I would love to hear it. And I'm reminded of my dinner. We were coming home from dinner last night. Now I have a 17-year-old son. Those of you that are moms of boys, you will understand what that means is that your food budget literally quadruples. That's what that means. Like it is literally Tony and I, like we have hour-long conversations about Sebastian's ability to eat. We're just like, is there like this thing where it like there's just like there's nothing that keeps it, so you never feel satisfied. And we were just laughing because we were driving home from dinner last night for Tony's birthday, and literally, my son ordered an appetizer of cornbread, and this restaurant was just abundant. They literally gave you a loaf. They gave Sebastian a loaf. And so he had cornbread, then he had a big serving of gumbo, then he had one piece of my chicken, he had half of his sister's meal. Tony ordered a dessert. Sebastian had half of the dessert. And we were driving home. We just finished eating. We get in the car, we're driving home, and Sebastian says, does anybody feel hungry? And we were like, oh my God. And he goes, I don't mean hungry for food. So we all laughed, right? And he's like, I'm hungry for bread. Does anybody feel hungry for bread? And so I'm like, what? How is that not food? He goes, I don't mean physical bread. I'm hungry for money, right? I'm hungry to be wealthy. And I was just like, would be my kid. Just would be my kid. But if you want to judge that, go ahead. What I acknowledged in his statement was he is he is in full unapologetic ownership of his desire to be wealthy. Like like I am going to talk about it. I'm going to bring it up in every which angle I can so you all are very clear on what I want. Like if you have anything to do with contributing to my desire being manifested, you know what it is, right? And I was just like, man, that level of intense desire is, to me, admirable. I'm just like, truly, what else do you need? He is gonna figure it out, make it work, bring it to him. And I can't wait to tell you all what he thinks is the greatest thing he's learned from me. um, as you've now heard me say that thing, but he was like, I am hungry for bread. It was crazy funny to me. Anyway, all right, so who wants
I
to
just wanted to share,
who did?
if it's okay. I did, Rhonda.
Oh, go, Rhonda, go, go.
As you're saying that, I feel like this is a thought, words, and deeds kind of thing. And right now we did the thought part on desire, but now we're up to the deeds, the action.
Mm,
And that's kind of how I put things in a nutshell.
yeah.
Um, the thing that I chose to do last week, I was sitting at my desk and Spirit took me through memory lane of the various times people have asked me for capital. And when I couldn't do it. And then he said, I've always, no matter what they've asked me for, he's wound up positioning me to have that. So
Mm,
here's the play part. I call my friend who is one of my playmates, and I say, "Hey, God, before I called her, had put a number in my mind." I didn't say it out loud. I said to her, I said, "In reflection, I see that God has always positioned me to meet the needs that have been asked of me.
Mm.
So ask me for some money, whatever you want." And she said, "Well, what should I be asking for?" I said, "No." I said, "God has given me a number, but you go ahead. Playing is such fun."
Wow.
So she said $10 million. I said, "Great, you got it." I sat at my desk. I wrote the check. I have it in my book. I wrote the check. And then she asked a critical question, which her and I learned some years back. She said, "What did God tell you?" I said, "He told me 2 billion." She gasped.
Wow.
She gasped. She said, "I left so much money on the table."
Wow.
I said, "It's all good." But she said, "This has so expanded my mind just in doing this in this few minutes.
Wow.
And where else am I doing that in my life?"
Yeah.
And what how we arrived at the place of her asking me, "What did God tell you?" is one time I was at a Christian concert, and with these kids, I promised them I love gospel, but I gave my word, so I followed through on my deed.
Mm-hmm.
And this man came running after me at intermission. He was seated near me. He said, "Do you need some money?" He had his checkbook in his hand and a
Hmm.
pen.
Hmm.
And I thought of what I needed, and I said, "Oh, yeah, my daughter's going to camp tomorrow. I need this." He said, "Is
Mm-hmm.
that all?" Look at God even gave me a second chance.
Yeah.
He said, "Is that all?"
Yeah.
And he wrote the check. I made it out to the Y. And because I was like, "Is this for real?"
Yeah.
How many
Yeah.
people have somebody run up to you with a check and say that?
Yeah.
And I went ahead, filled it out, and my friend that's now my one of my playmates,
Yeah.
she said, "Did it ever occur to you to ask him? Or from now on, let's say whatever the Lord is leading you to do, do that." Because we
Wow.
don't know what's in the mind of Christ. We don't
Right.
know what he has set aside for us.
That
So
is
play,
so
play, play.
that is so powerful,
That's
Rhonda.
my share.
What a word. Wow. That's amazing. Thank you, thank you, thank you for that contribution.
It brought me to the
Ah.
place of love being able to write the check. And my decree is everybody in my sphere loves writing the check. We fight over the
Mm.
check. I
Right.
love that.
Right.
I love that. I love that. It's amazing. I tried to pay my kids back for, I fly a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I would ask my kids, "Hey, what is it?" "Don't worry about it, Grandma. It's all expenses paid." And I'm like, "Okay."
I'll take it.
But at the same time, that's my decree that we're
Yeah.
all able to write the check. That's what it looks like. Manifest it.
Yeah.
It has a look, it has a feel, it has a touch, a taste. Yes. And so it is.
And so it is. And I declare and decree everyone here this morning, we're all able to write the checks. Goddess Beth, Goddess Lashina, Goddess Carla, you know, we know, right? In our 40-day abundance journey, and also, um, the conversation that I had on Monday morning's Facebook Live, where I talked about, I do the work, right? I do the deeds, God writes the checks. you know, I love that, and I'm adding in all the people in my sphere. We all have the abundant ability to write the checks through Christ in us, whose supply is infinite. And so it is. Okay, I want to put something here really quick. So I want you all to look at the top of your screen. Let me just check that I got the right link. Let me just check 1 second. Oh no, 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 wrong link. Now, Lisa, how do I delete that? Remove link. I put the link that will get you to into the studio, which is not the one that you want. So hang on a second because I want you all to come join us today at, oh no, why is everything just, everything always works in my favor. Here we go. Love when everything works. Open an extra copy link. Okay, here we go. All right, everyone, thank you for your patience. I'm going to put this.
Tasha, you muted yourself
Oh, I'm
if you're
sorry.
talking to
I'm
us.
going to put I was saying thank you for your patience. I am going to put the link now. So click that link, and you'll be able to join us today um, at 12 Eastern. You should also be getting an email. You can also look on my Instagram. It's in my stories, the link. We're talking about Are You Wealthy in Love? So there's 44 people here at this moment. I expect you all to be on. Thank you, thank you, thank you. 12 Eastern with Goddess Diana and I. And I'm really excited for what she has to share because I know, there's so many women that are in this room who are looking for love. And one of the things I love about Goddess Diana, which you'll learn, is she has this just real talk conversation about loving ourselves. And are you wealthy in loving yourself? So I'm looking forward to having you all come join us and support that conversation. Please share with friends too. Any other women that you know that are really looking to harness and grow love, have them join us today. All right, Helene, take us away. What's your share that you want to contribute to this wonderful conversation? Helene, you're muted. All right, while we're waiting for you, I'm going to put the link in the chat as well for anyone that wants to join. All right, Helene, I'm not seeing that you are able to unmute. So I am going to love you all and wish you a wonderful rest of the day and say I'm looking forward to seeing you at 12 o'clock today. Have a great rest of the day, everyone, and see you at 12. Thank you, Lisa, as always. Thanks, Rhonda and Jackie, for joining.
You are so welcome. Have a great weekend, you guys. See you at 12.
All right, bye bye.